Hello, welcome to Scrap Time. My name's Christine, and in this video I'm going to show you how you can do foiling with Distress Resist Spray. Now, earlier in May, Tim had done this technique when he was doing a video with Heidi, so I want to try it and share it with you. So the Distress Resist Spray is almost like a glue. I've shown it before. It was one of my favorite picks for June, and now it's even more favorite because I found yet another way to use it. So what I did is I sprayed it through a stencil. Now I'm going to have links to all the stencils and the spray and that I used in the description below. I don't know all the names of them, so I'm not going to mention them in the video, but just so you know, if you're interested in a stencil, I'll have it down below. So I sprayed this through a stencil, and then you have to let it dry completely. And then when I foiled it, you can see these stars. All the foil I'm using is from Therm, and this is one of Gina K's foils. I can tell because it has little designs in the stars. Now the difference between, say, using this, using a spray versus a paste, if I can just, I have a sample here that I did in an earlier video. You can see with the paste, I get a very solid image, like the whole thing's covered. But with the spray, sometimes you'll get more pixelated. It won't be that whole solid, smooth. And then obviously texture pastes are raised and the spray is just flat to the surface. Now, I'll mention it here, but I am going to talk about it in another video. You can see how these circles also picked up. We're learning that some acrylic paint or gessos and stuff, because they have plastic in them, will also foil. And I'm going to do a video later on that, but just because I'm noticing these circles here, that is why they are foiled. It has nothing to do with the spray in that case. But today, we're talking about the spray. So that was some stars. Now, before too, I was talking about choosing colors for your foil. So this one, because it was blues and greens, I decided I would just do a green. And in this case, the foiling just sort of goes into the background. If I was to do a gold or a darker color, then the foiling would be sort of the focal image. So by choosing different colored foils, changes the appearance too that you're going for. And in this one, it was a smaller stencil, so I had just sort of blocked off a bit, and so it sort of comes out. But then again, you can see here and all over here, on this side here, there's little bits of foiling or that picked up, and that again was due to the pastes and paints and stuff I had underneath. So this one, I wanted to bring the foil to actually show you what got foiled. So this one here, I had sprayed the paste over the little X's, but this card had a bit of embossing paste on it, and then down here, so you can see now I have like little foiling. Can you see on the side and all down here? And you can see here where it was picked up. So like down here and then all across the top. So now it's sort of like bringing mixed media to another level. That foiling can be yet another layer, and then how it picks up depending on what you use. So this one is a little crazy. So I wanted to show you, this is what got foiled, because looking at it can be, it can be a little wild, right? So I had sprayed all the numbers, but then again, some of the paint underneath picked up the foil too. So as you can see here, it's all the numbers, but then all those little cracks and stuff was what was underneath. And then here, the difference too, I want to show is the gold on that crazy background versus green and the difference it makes. They were sort of similar in terms of the backgrounds, but just the choice of your foil makes a difference in the final. This is another crazy one, and that's why I wanted to bring the foil in so you could see what was removed. And so again, I just did a sort of tonal, tone on tone, the pink on the pink, rather than adding a gold or something. And I got a bit of, and you can see sort of in here how it's more sprayed versus solid. This one, because I used gold, I didn't need to show you. But what I want to show you down here is this was paint. Or I think actually it wasn't paint. It may have even been like Nouveau maybe. I can't remember if it was paint or it could be Nouveau dots. And look how that just picked up the gold. So if you want to add dots, the little Nouveau dots, and then foil them if you don't have the color. So that's sort of cool. And then here in the background I did a stencil and the gold foil. So then I thought I was just going to spray. I didn't stencil it. So you can see here on the white how it's like the sprayness of it. And then, so that's cool too. You can just spray it. You don't need to put it through a stencil. And then this was another one. I just sprayed on, and then I tried to do like larger blobs of spray. So that was cool. But again, I had a bit of the distress glaze on here that picked up around the edges. And even down on the thing a bit. So down here you can see a little bit on my border was picked up. And it was probably where I had some glazes. And then this one was again just some sprays and some blobs. So I think that's really cool too. If you do a lighter spray and then just some little spray blobs, so that you can get really cool foiled texture. Now, I'm not doing it in this video, but just as another thing, is that once it's foiled, it's actually water resistant. And so if you went over this with water-based mediums, the foil would resist it, and you can continue to do different techniques depending what was on your background. So that's something else that's sort of cool. Okay, so put those aside. So I have this background, which I was so-so on it. And so I wanted to sort of cover a lot of it. So I did a stencil. It's a circle stencil, which we'll see. I don't know. Can you see that it's sort of glossy? And the glossiness is the spray. So we're going to give it a try. I'm not going to use that one. I'm going to, I use parchment paper, and I like to use a piece of cardstock just for some extra stability. And I'll put my card and my foil in there. I'm just using a gold. Then bring in my laminator. I have a Royal Sovereign laminator, and I have it set on heat to 5 millimeters. And then I'm going to just put it through, and the laminator will just take it. So you just have to wait. It doesn't take that long, but you don't want to pull or push it. You just want to let it do its thing, and it's going to work its way through. This laminator fits an 11-inch piece of paper, so 8.5 by 11 across. And we just wait a moment. So once again, this was all done with the Distress Resist spray, and some were through stencils and some was just sprayed randomly. And this was one of the new Crafters Workshop circle stencils that this current one is. Bubbles, I think it's called. But again, I'll have all the links to the stencils listed below in the description. So we're almost through here. We're just waiting for the paper to finish going through. If you didn't want to wait so long, you could always have a shorter piece of paper if you're only doing like cards and stuff. Okay, I'm gonna move my laminator out of the way. take it off and let's see what's going to happen. Okay, so this is interesting because I am just looking. There was gel medium on this. So you can see how it's not a solid circle stencil. And why? Why is that? It's because the gel medium that was underneath here picked up the foil as well. And that was part of my learning, is that other mediums are now, you can use them with foils, which I hadn't really occurred to me. So it's not the worst, but it's not my ideal in terms of I didn't get that solid thing. However, the Distress Resist Spray did its job. All the circles got picked up, but you want to be careful what is underneath there. So if you're wanting that nice circle pattern, we're now having to be careful what's underneath. So yeah, it was, I had used gel medium and Distress inks on the background. And that is why it is so solid. It's not my lack of spraying abilities, it is the gel medium. But the point being is that you can use this resist spray and do foiling. But it's good that you see this, so that makes you also think like, oh, what else is on here? So anyway, I'll just bring back a couple. So that was with the sprays, and then where it was, put things out of the way. And then here's a nice one you can see with the stencil. So you can do a nice stenciling job. This was just like, it was Inktense pencils on the background here. So it was a water medium, so none of the water picked up the foiling. Meanwhile, a little bit up here of the gesso, and that did. But it's just more ideas to play. So hopefully I gave you some ideas to get out your resist spray and foil some things up and see what else you can create, because it's just, the more mediums we have that you can do with foiling, the more ideas that will come out of it. So play and enjoy. Thanks for watching. Be sure to give our video a thumbs up and subscribe to Scrap Time videos on YouTube. In the meantime, here are a couple other videos you might be interested in watching. See you next time. Bye-bye.